Hi readers, so today you will need your Making Meaning book, and then you will also need our nonfiction text feature worksheet, okay? So as you can probably guess, today we are going to read a nonfiction story. So if you could please go ahead and turn to page 36 and 37 in your Making Meaning book. And our title today is Origami, the Art of Japanese Paper Folding. Go ahead and take a minute and see if you can notice and circle any nonfiction text features. Go ahead and see how many you can find. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to circle them. If you see a repeated one, you don't have to keep circling it. Take a minute, think about those nonfiction features. They've been we glued them in our reader's notebook. If you need to use that resource to help you, you may. All right. Well, hopefully you've been able to identify a few of them. We're going to go over them together, and then we're going to read the story about origami. So if you notice, let's see, we've got our very first one right here, Origami, the Art of Japanese Paper Folding. That's a what? That's the title, right? Okay. Look down here at the bottom. I'm noticing two different nonfiction features. Right here, we have a what? We have a map. And they've zoomed in to a specific spot on the map, Japan. And then if you look underneath the map and underneath the, oh, that's another nonfiction one, photos, we have several what? We have several captions, right? So let's go ahead and just circle one of them. And then I think that is all I see. Oh, hopefully you're yelling at me. There is another one. It's similar to a title, and we talked about it earlier this week. There's two of them, aren't there? What are those called? Do you remember? Headings. All right. So now that we've identified our nonfiction features, let's go ahead and read about origami. So interesting. All right, so you're tracking along and reading with me. Could you fold a square of paper into a graceful fish or a long-stemmed flower? Origami, or Japanese paper folding, is an art form practiced by many people. In origami, a simple sheet of paper can become a spectacular piece of art. I'm curious if any of you have ever tried to fold paper into origami. All right, let's go ahead and read our heading. Ancient art form, modern appeal. Paper was invented in China and brought to Japan around the year 500. Because paper was rare back then, paper decorations, excuse me, sorry, I just want to make sure. I want to make sure I was recording. I got scared for a second. All right, sorry. Paper decorations were reserved for special ceremonies. As paper became more common, people started to make paper models for fun. By the 1800s, children in Japan and Europe were learning the art of folding paper into interesting shapes. Traditionally, origami objects are created using square pieces of paper that range in size from 1 to 15 inches wide. 6 inches is one of the most common sizes. The paper is usually colored or patterned on one or both sides. The paper square is not usually cut or glued, but is shaped by making a series of creases and folds. Some artists use wet paper to achieve a more rounded look. Others experiment with unusual materials such as cloth, wire, sheet metal, and even what? Toilet paper. That's silly. Let's look at our caption. And it is always important to make sure you're reading the captions because a lot of times the test makers in the world that test you on nonfiction text will ask you a question, but it's not in the passage, it's in the caption. That's a little secret. Don't tell anybody. Japan is an island country that lies near the east coast of Russia, Korea, and China. It is made up of 4 major islands. So remember, the captions will always describe in more detail what the photograph or map in this case, or picture illustration is all about. All right, our next heading, a worldwide craze. Make it a little bit bigger. All right, you're reading along with me. Today, there are fans of origami worldwide. The most popular shapes are still traditional Japanese models, such as flowers and birds, but many people are inspired by more unusual looking life forms, such as scorpions, armadillos, and horned beetles. Some people submit their paper creations to origami contests. Some origami contests have a theme, such as plants or prehistoric animals. In other contests, there are categories such as Best Original Design, vocab words, Best Technical Folding, and Best Miniature Model. Winners of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Origami Contest have included precise models of a butterfly, a sailboat, and a gold-colored beaver. That's pretty original to me, huh? Origami is a tradition that has been passed on through many generations. Artists fold origami to express themselves. Scientists and engineers use it to explore shapes and angles to invent new technology. Teachers sometimes use origami as a tool to help kids learn math. I might have to look into that. And many people fold paper just because it's fun. And then we've got this interesting photograph. And if there was not a caption, I would be a little confused about what it is. So I'm glad there's a caption to help us understand it a little bit better. Folding origami can be a fun challenge. Some complicated origami figures are constructed using several sheets of paper. This looks like a very complicated one. Right? And then we've got our last little bit, 1,000 paper cranes. In the city of Hiroshima, Japan, people bring thousands of paper cranes to a memorial park every year. They do this to remember a girl named Sadako Sasaki. After World War II, Sadako became ill with leukemia, a form of cancer. She had heard the legend that if a person folds 1,000 paper cranes, he or she will be granted one wish. Her wish was to become healthy again. Sadako decided to fold 1,000 paper cranes. For months, she kept folding and folding. But on October 25th, 1955, she died with 350 cranes left to make. Her friends completed the remaining cranes for her. Sadako's determination to finish her project has come to stand for a wish for peace. Today, people across the world fold paper cranes and string them into chains. They send them to the memorial park to remember Sadako's dream. Wow, that's really special. And then if you look at our photograph, underneath it, we've got our caption. A 1,000 crane chain takes a long time for one person to make, but it can be completed quickly if many people join in. Wow, I hope you enjoyed that story, learning a little bit about origami. Pretty interesting, right? All right, we are going to go ahead and be done with that today. I would like you to make sure that you have your paper with a lot of nonfiction text features. Okay, we're going to do a couple of these together, and then I'm going to leave you to do the rest by yourself. And this will also be a discussion post. So again, today, if you need to go back in your reader's notebook to maybe double check your work, that is fine. I'm okay with that, okay? Tomorrow, you will have a quiz testing you on your nonfiction features. That is not a time that we would go back and use our resources during our test. If you want to study them before, that is what super students do, but not while we're taking the test, right? All right, so we have an article here about sharks. And then we have a lot of boxes pointing to our nonfiction features. Up here is our word bank. So these, as I say them, should sound familiar to you. One may not. That's one I'm going to do with you. But we've got our heading, caption, diagram, bolded text, title, topic sentence, and photo. So right away, the one that probably doesn't sound familiar to you would be topic sentence. Okay, so we're going to do that one together. When you think about a topic sentence, the word sentence is in there. So clearly, we should be hunting and seeing if there's anything underlined that's maybe, or pointed to that's maybe a sentence. Okay, well, I see this one. It's a sentence. I also see this one. This would be an example of that topic sentence, friends. And a topic sentence is the first sentence in a paragraph that's kind of describing what you're going to be reading about, okay? So the topic sentence is always going to be the first sentence in a paragraph. So we can go ahead and cross that one off. Okay? All right. I'm going to do 1 and 2, and then I did 4 with you. Then you are, excuse me, you are going to do the rest by yourself for a discussion post. Okay? So if we look at number 1, sharks. What is sharks? Which one of these nonfiction features do you think it would be? Well, it would be the title, right? That is the title of the whole passage. So go ahead and write in title. Okay? And then let's go ahead and do number 2 together. What is number 2? Number 2 is an illustration of a shark. But then the illustration has a lot of labels. When there's an illustration with a bunch of labels pointing to different parts of something, do you remember what that's called? It's called a diagram. All right, friends. So you have number 3. Go ahead and circle that. You have number 5. You have number 6. And you have number 7 to do. When you are done, I want you to make sure that you post those in your discussion post. So 3, 5, 6, and 7. Use your word bank to help you, and then you can also use your notebook from the other week as well, okay? All right, I will talk to you soon. Good job. Bye.